Looks to me like she might go all screamy on us, Eddie.
I wish you'd call me Tex. I told you.
I'm sorry. God damn it, I'm sorry. How'd you like to do us honor of plugging that whore up?
Welcome to the Hattie for Horrors podcast, where we discuss all things horror, from one-off movies to franchises, to TV series, and even expanded media. I'm Mark,
I'm Tawan.
and today we're reviewing Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre III, released in 1990, directed by Jeff Burr, and written by David J. Shaw. Tawan, can you give the people the plot summary?
Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre III follows Michelle and Ryan, a young couple traveling across Texas after running into trouble on a back road. Their trip takes a horrifying turn when they cross paths with Leatherface and a new branch of his cannibalistic family. As the body count rises, Michelle joins forces with survivalist Benny, who becomes determined to rescue her and put an end to Leatherface's reign of terror. Together, they must survive a relentless pursuit through the Texas wilderness while facing one of horror's most iconic killers. And for this episode, we do not have any headlines, so we will get straight into our discussion.
Well, Texas Chainsaw 3. I told you and everyone listening that last week that we would get new family members, like a whole extended family, and they also feel like a family, a sick and twisted family. But they like you see, but they have like close bonds and relationship. It kind of changes the dynamic of things. Okay, my main issue with this movie is that the family gets too much of the spotlight
Do they?
because nothing else makes sense. It's I think they do. I feel like, we have Hex running around being weird. You have the Tinker. First off, there's too many fan members. Too much going on. We only needed we were okay with just 2 to 3 being active and with grandpa dead as. It's a whole crew now. And a kid and a mama. Like there's a lot going on. And why was that black man on that back row by himself? It's not what we do, Benny.
Texas,
Why?
Texas people different.
Like, and I don't know. I just feel like this one doesn't have the over the top humor the last one did, but this one just feels different. And this is the first one in the '90s, and this movie, I don't know what this movie wanted to be, or like because I'm guessing you haven't seen the trailer.
Hmm?
I'm guessing you haven't seen the trailer for this movie.
No.
I want you to watch the trailer. If you could just pull it up really quick, because the trailer is where the issue starts. If I was around and alive when this movie was coming out and this trailer dropped, I also wouldn't know what the fuck I was about to watch. Because
Let me see.
what you see in the trailer doesn't even like it's this movie doesn't know itself. It doesn't have an identity. And it's like it wants to pull on stuff that we saw from the first 2 movies, but then like it's just disconnected, in my opinion, to me. And I feel like the disconnect goes all the way to the marketing.
And you're referring to this one where like the chainsaw's coming out the water?
Mm-hmm. Like it's
It's
fucking
giving Jason.
Excalibur. It starts to give Jason, and it goes somewhere else. All of a sudden, he fucking King Leatherface. Like, what are we doing here? Why is the chainsaw Excalibur? This ain't got nothing to do with the goddamn movie. Like, I
Yeah.
like if you saw that before you watched the movie, you would have no idea what's happening.
Truly.
It, it's so I don't know. This movie is confused. But what about you? What are your thoughts?
Um, so as we all know, if you've been listening to this series so far, of us reviewing Texas Chainsaw movies, I have not seen these earlier films, so this is like first time watching, um, getting up to the eventual like '03 remake. So
No.
I'll have you know, watching this today, I was very bored watching this movie. I was just waiting for shit to happen, and it just was not giving. This movie was not giving me anything until really until the end. To be quite honest with you, um, I didn't know where we were kind of going with the story. We had that kind of cold open, and then we, were following Michelle and Ryan for a while. Things were happening. Like I thought it was gonna take I thought. Let me get my thoughts together because that throughout the movie, I thought like something was gonna happen where someone was gonna like kind of become Leatherface like throughout the movie, like one of the characters that we ran into, like they were going to become Leatherface or something along those lines. I thought because the name of the movie was like Leatherface Texas Chainsaw 3, like something was gonna be different because of that in that whole realm of things. But then we eventually just run into Leatherface and then the Sawyer family. And at that point, I was like, oh, well, why did it take so long to get here? It was a lot of build up to get to not even a good payoff. Once we eventually did see Leatherface for the first, not the well, the first time, at least in regards to Michelle and Ryan and like what they were going through this whole time. First of all, they need to get a new car because that car was not aiding them at all throughout this entire movie. That honestly was what was sending them off the entire time was that damn car, fucking Michelle and Ryan.
The
If they
car
had
was
been,
there.
the car was their downfall. If they had a different car, I think they would have been good to go. But yeah, everything kind of like once we eventually saw Leatherface, like from that point until like from the beginning till then, it was a struggle to get through. Like I cannot believe this was like I think this is like an 80-minute movie, like almost like 90-minute movie, and it felt way longer than it needed to because of the way certain things were going down throughout and just how long they were kind of paced out, like seeing certain scenes were paced out, and not and to add to it, like Michelle, Ryan, and everyone else we were running into were not interesting characters whatsoever, and it's like we were just the only interesting character really was Benny at most, just because he was putting in work to get shit done. Everybody else though was just boring the fuck out of me. It didn't get interesting to me until we actually got to the Sawyer house and we were introduced to this whole new crop of characters. Like I was literally texting Mark on the side. I'm like, when they get a mama, who this little girl? I'm like, well, at least granddad finally died. They let his ass to rest.
They
But
had to.
I'm like, who's these motherfuckers? Why is Vigo Mortensen here? um, yeah, I won't say I was confused. I was more so just waiting to get to the end. And even once we did get to the end, I wasn't satisfied. To be quite honest, I was. It was more of like it was more the ending wasn't wasn't satisfying. It was more like, oh, thank God this shit's over. And I'm sure that's how the characters felt in the movie too. But
I get
yeah, it just wasn't really giving anything. Like as much as I would say, two was a departure from the first movie. I have way more enjoyment watching two than I did this one. I'm not even gonna lie. I like way more enjoyment. Like going into that one. At least it was like the character, like the bits that were doing the most in two kept me entertained. Whereas this one was just like so low key to the point that I was bored.
Yeah, this movie just didn't know how to entertain. Like I don't know what was going on, but let's talk about some of these scenes. Um, well, the scene with Leatherface and he has the little like image, the little toy, and it has like the
Mm,
different type of people pop up, and he's putting food. That was kind of cute. I mean, because he only knows people as food, so I got it. It was like a child. Overall,
be a shark
scenes that
friend,
made me
not food.
mm, the
That's what it
the
was giving
scenes
me.
that yeah, the overall scenes that made me kind of uncomfortable were any scenes that implied that that kid was Leatherface's. 'Cause I was like, wait,
Yeah,
I was like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? I 'Cause it implies like I don't. It implies that they assaulted some woman. She gave birth, and then they probably ate her. Like we don't need that. It could have just been. I don't need that. I don't need that. It's too much. And this scene when they killed that one lady, because mostly I don't know why she was there. She popped up out the blue.
are you talking about the was it like Sarah? I think her name was.
Yeah, she popped up out the fucking blue. Had like three scenes and she was dead. What was she here? That feels like a scene that y'all inserted after the fact because y'all needed another kill to extend the runtime because it just felt so out of place. Now, I will say my favorite scene was just with Benny because Benny he wasn't really for the shits.
No, he wasn't.
Like he peeped the chainsaw and immediately, oh,
He
I gotta
locked.
go. I gotta get my gun. Like y'all fucking around. So I enjoyed that, but it's slim pickings because the ending. I don't even know what, and then that faux ass dinner scene we got. Like y'all could have kept. I know y'all trying to keep the tradition on, but y'all can't top the dinner scene from the first movie. The second movie had a decent enough scene, but with this willing out the mama, I that could have been kept. It wasn't for me. Are there any
Yeah.
scenes that stood out for you, sir? Good, bad, or ugly?
Um, I guess yeah. When Benny did pull up and started spraying at the crib, I was like, somebody had to do it, and
Hmm.
I'm glad that it was him. He pulled up and let that motherfucker sing on that house, and I was all for that. Um, when Leatherface first was attacking Michelle and Ryan, and first of all, what? I don't remember. Even though I just watched, I don't remember if anything was said about this. I don't. Why did he keep getting in the back seat of the car?
I have no idea. That was really bugging me too. Like, is
That was fucking me.
I'm just like, I don't understand what's going on, and I need to understand what is
Like
going on.
he got in like the first time when they like pulled off after they were at the gas station in Texas and all that stuff happened. I was like, okay, cool. They were trying to pull off really quick, so he got in the back seat and he was back there when Leatherface first attacked. But once they got that tire back on, I'm like, why are you hopping your ass in the back seat again?
At that point, I
And
think he was just being a lazy bitch.
you were you weren't fending for your life hard enough for me. Um, I will say now one scene where I was like, you know what? I completely understand. And that was when Ryan ass got caught in that bear trap, and Michelle was like, looked at his eyes, looked at
Valid.
Leatherface, and and ran because you can
That
you
that
there's
was
nothing for you
valid.
to do. It was so fucking valid. There was nothing for you to do there, Miss. And
Like if there
I'm
was a
sorry.
possibility I could help, they know why not. But when I can see the writings on the wall, like I'll cry for you.
Like we both don't need to die.
Hmm. Somebody got to inform the family.
Somebody, yes, exactly. Like we both don't need to go out. So you know, it's got to be you. But I mean, you say he survived until he didn't.
Facts.
But yeah, when it did happen, I was like, you know what, real, because I would do the same. Unfortunately, um, so that was just kind of like a little funny moment in my head when I first saw that. I was like, you know what, she is kind of real for that one. The ending when the one member of the family like came to the car to like attack her and Benny, and she had pulled out the gun the shotty at him, and for a second, like I didn't think she was gonna shoot because she was like, as soon as she pulled that motherfucker on him, I was like, all right, let it rip, and then she was taking a couple seconds longer than she should have. I'm like, girl, he could have grabbed the gun by now. Like you doing too much. Like just let that bitch sing. But then she eventually shot his ass, and I was like, all right, we're good.
It took her, she had to make sure she was really gonna do this.
Yeah, she was
She
she was
was
doing a little aura farming there, but we need all that. We needed bodies.
she wasn't sure if she was about that life or not.
But outside of that, the only other scene that I was like, what are we doing here? Is when we get to the house and we see the little girl. I'm like, okay, and then I hear they talk about mama, and I'm like, mama, who who mama?
I was so excited for you to get to this part when we started to meet the
I
new
was
family
like,
members.
I was like, who mama is this? Who baby is this? Like, where? Like, what are we? It is funny because like this is technically is this technically like, well, it is same continuity because they talk about Sally Hardesty and all that shit, and X amount of years since the other stuff took place. So it is continuity.
I heard listen to another podcast talk about these movies, and I think it becomes more apparent, and when you get to the sequels to the remake, it seems more like this is just like one cannibalistic like community of people, and they all kind of just
They all
congregate
got their own leather
together.
face.
Yeah, and everybody just take Leatherface in. One family goes down. Here's Leatherface. We inherited Leatherface now. That's how I see it. Leatherface is just hopping through the cannibal community and see where he lands up. He lands at. That's the only thing that makes sense. And he keeps taking Grandpa ass with him because why is Grandpa here?
My fucking grandpa finally then kicked the bucket. And he looked and way the way he looked dead is the way he looked when he was alive. um, as far as scenes, maybe I more so didn't like. Honestly, just everything that was like leading up to maybe that like first gas station scene, because the setup was not really giving me anything to look forward to with these characters or even want to um like root for them or and like anything like that. Whereas like in the second one, even though she was annoying, like Stretch, her whole thing was trying to get this audio out so that they can find who did this to these guys. I'm like, okay, I get that. Like, you know, I can root for that, like the idea of that. Whereas these two weren't giving me anything. Honestly, they should Michelle and Ryan should have dropped down to second billing, and Benny should have been the main, and we should have been following him and basically having him do a reversal on the fucking family as he did throughout the movie and hunt their asses down. Like we should have had Benny as like the focus instead of Michelle and Ryan, especially Michelle because she didn't do shit.
Did you peep Stretch though as the news reporter?
Yeah, I did,
Little nice cameo.
but I think we should have had Benny as the main character here and did kind of like a reverse hunt type of deal where they thought they was getting him, but he was actually on their ass the whole time, which kind of did happen. But the fact that we had to deal with Michelle and Ryan's like car troubles for half the movie was annoying the fuck out of me.
Well, before we move on to our character sections and talking to Benny, do you have any more scenes that stood out for you?
I do not.
Well, go ahead, tell us about Benny.
I mean, he was the realest one in the movie. He was the only one getting shit done. Um, Honestly, shit. If Leatherface didn't have that little other smaller like buzzsaw in his pocket when they had their little fight in the woods, Benny could have killed him. Um, because he was definitely overpowering Leatherface in that scene. But Leatherface had to pull out his little pocket pocket saw and jip Benny in the leg. But Benny was the only one that was doing was like shutting shit down. He found those other guys in the woods. He pulled up, um, let the rifle spray up the crib, and without him, fucking was it Michelle? Almost, yeah, Michelle. If it wasn't if it wasn't for him, Michelle, she wouldn't have got out that house at all. She would have been up there with Ryan, hanging from the ceiling. So he's the goat. But I do agree with you. What was he? He shouldn't have been down them back roads anyway. But they better be glad he was down there.
I mean, that's my main point is Benny is the true MVP of this movie. Benny was kicking ass while everybody else was getting their ass kicked. Benny is what Lefty should have been. But whatever. Let's move on over to Michelle. Michelle, like Stretch, was giving me nothing. I felt nothing.
Mm-mm.
I was just annoyed that Benny kept putting himself in danger to come save this woman. What about you?
Um, I mean, exactly how I felt. Quite honestly, she didn't provide me with anything that would. She didn't provide me with anything that would make me want to root for her character. Like we have Sally in the first one. As I said in like once before, Sally was running, ripping and running throughout that damn Sawyer house, jumping from second story windows without a thought in her mind, like running through pitch black woods, like don't know where shit is, but guess what? She was out here. Now Michelle, she did make a smart decision when she saw Ryan get caught by that damn bear trap and was like, well, I gotta survive. Somebody gotta survive, and that was the only good decision she made throughout the movie. Everything else that was, kind of done by her character, I was well. I can't even say what everything else she did because she didn't do shit. Like she really wasn't doing anything when they crashed into Benny after Tex popped out on the road. I'm seriously trying to think of decisions that were made by her character, like what she even did at that point. But it was mostly Benny doing things, and then we saw a mix of just Leatherface shenanigans going on. That other girl Sarah popping up for a second, and then the Sawyer family members who were out there in the woods as well. I can't think of what Michelle would have done. that made me think any different of her character. To be quite honest with you.
Well, let's move on over to the Sawyer family now. This time around, the Sawyer family consists of the Tinker, Alfredo, Grandma, no, well, not Grandma, Mama Sawyer, the little girl Sawyer, Grandpa Sawyer, and Tech. What did you think about these new Sawyers? And they're very specific names.
Mm, where these people come from? That was my main thing.
And why is it so overcrowded? I feel like it was
And
too
even
many.
it didn't feel that overcrowded to me. I was just more so like, why? Like, I know we're only two movies in, but I'm like, damn, we didn't change shit up twice. Y'all can't stick to nothing yet. And I've seen a little bit from the next one, and I see we also are still not sticking to any one thing. So I guess it's kind of on brand for the brand, um, to not be on brand and follow in any kind of footsteps of what was previously there.
They don't have a brand, which is why I think it doesn't get the same like love and admiration as other franchises because like everyone who likes this franchise, they tote, oh my god, Leatherface is badass. But when you watch these movies, Leatherface is usually just kind of there while his
Yeah,
family does
he barely
yeah,
been in
like
here.
his family does everything. But you can't latch on to the family being the iconic part of the franchise when outside of the first two, it's a new fucking family every time. The first two is the only one that gave us one consistent character, and that was the cook in both. But
Mm,
even with, I mean, I guess you could say Grandpa. It's just Grandpa and Leatherface. And the only people you get over and over again. Everybody else is new, child.
yeah,
But
yeah.
you go ahead, my bad. I cut you off.
No, you're fine. Yeah. I mean, I guess the dynamics of like the family. If we're just speaking on this particular iteration of them. I can kind of see what you meant, where they did kind of feel more like a family per se. Um, like just watching.
You saw some moments there.
Yeah, like I kind of see what you meant there with that, and I do agree. Like they did kind of feel a little more like closer knit. I mean, they're still like batshit crazy, but as far as like a family dynamic goes, like they were operating and doing shit like if it like fucking Leatherface was like even though he stuck his hand in the damn oven, he was bullying his brother, and Tex like was not fucking like fucking around with the other like guy like family. I'm forgetting his name.
Tinker
Um,
or Alfredo.
I think it was Tinker. Tinker was the one with the hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was Tinker. So yeah, I think yeah, like they weren't getting along a little bit. Like so
They was
it was
some
little
beefing
parts.
brothers.
Yeah, it was like little parts there where like yeah, I could see a certain family dynamic, and the mom like um she had to break it up, and you could kind of get the feel that like Leatherface is her favorite out of all of them, and then you got the little girl there just being a little creepy girl, but yeah, I see it, but I don't think that means it works.
Oh no, it definitely doesn't work. Like I see what they were going for, but execution was very poor,
Mm,
very lackluster. Like I saw it, doesn't mean I enjoyed it.
yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Mm. Wow. What are your thoughts on Leatherface?
Out of the three showings, I feel this is the weakest so far.
Mm.
Like in two, I felt like he had a little personality going for him, and there was some personality kind of they were trying to like do in here as well. Like you mentioned the scene with him like playing the little little game or
The game.
whatever.
Hmm.
Yeah, like I feel like they there was little bits like that, but even though it was they were being very horny in the last movie, like the personality was kind of showing off a bit more there with the interactions that he had with Stretch versus any like Michelle or anyone else here. Well, I guess more so it was interactions with the family, but um nothing that would make me think this movie's Leatherface is better than any of the other two that we've seen so far.
That's valid. I think if one character, because it doesn't matter who writes, because practically every Friday 13 movie had a different writer. Every Freddy movie had a different writer, pretty much. The same thing for Halloween. But one thing that they kept consistent was how the main person acted.
Hmm.
Jason was the same across the board. Did he look different? Yes. Did he kill different? Yes. But for the most part, it was always Jason. No matter who was playing him, different actors played him, different stuntmen played him. They were all playing. You can still tell it was Jason. You still know that it's Jason. But with Leatherface, it's different every time. And that makes it hard to try to like connect with that character. And again, like when his family is a big part of that, and you're also changing the family every fucking movie, it's like, how are we supposed to connect?
Yeah, no, I agree.
So, go on. Can you give the people the behind the scenes info and facts?
That I can. So, Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre III had a budget of approximately $2 million and it brought in a box office of around 5.8 million worldwide. Some interesting facts. This was the first Texas Chainsaw film released by New Line Cinema, earning the studio the nickname The House That Freddy Built and Leatherface Visited. An unrated cut containing significantly more gore exists, but much of the footage was cut by the MPAA and is believed to be lost. This marked one of Viggo Mortensen's earliest film roles, years before he became internationally famous for the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Horror effects legend Tom Savini created the film's memorable teaser trailer, but did not handle the movie's special effects. Leatherface's mechanical chainsaw was specifically modified to appear larger and more intimidating than in previous films. And lastly, fans remain divided over the ending, which leaves several questions unanswered and teases a continuation that never happened. Some critics' reactions. This film currently sits at a 19% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 2.7 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. The Rotten Tomatoes consensus reads, Critics generally felt the film attempted to return Critics generally felt the film attempted to return the series to its gritty roots, but lacked the originality and intensity of the 1974 classic. Variety praised the film's production values and darker atmosphere, but criticized its predictable story and reliance on familiar slasher conventions. Entertainment Weekly noted that while the film contained effective moments of suspense, it struggled to escape the shadow of the original. And lastly, RogerEbert.com did not publish a review, but retrospective critics have generally viewed the film as an underrated sequel that suffered from heavy studio censorship rather than a lack of ambition. But enough of them. What about us? Do we cash or pass Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3? And I'm just gonna get it out the way and say I pass. I truly cannot see a scenario where I find myself coming back to give this movie a watch. Um, it's sometimes a movie can be bad, but you can still find some enjoyment in it. But if it's bad to me and also boring, that's where you kind of lose. Now we're like we're two strikes, and yeah, this just was not really it for me. I found myself counting down an 80-minute movie to see when it was over because I was just not having enjoyment. I really think, though, if the plot was reworked or the story was reworked to more so focus on Benny as opposed to Michelle and Ryan, and we kind of did like some reverse hunter type shit with them with the family kind of fucking with Benny and them hunting them down back in return, I feel that could have been a better story because Benny was the stronger character out of the um like non Sawyer family people, and I think that probably would have been a better focus for them. But we're dealing with what we got here. He was a good character for what he provided, but since we mainly were focusing with Michelle and Ryan, they weren't doing it for me here, and I think this Leatherface was a weak outing for this Leatherface as well. So I will be passing on this movie.
For me, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. It's a pass. It's a pass. This movie's not enjoyable. It's garbled. It's too early in this franchise to be breaking the norms in the continuity already. Like as crazy as Friday the 13th got, from one to two to three, it's still the same shit. The mom died in the first one, so he came back in the second one. The third movie picks up right where the second movie leaves off. I just even with Halloween's fucked up timelines, when you go down the particular timeline, it still makes sense. Like it's too soon. We're only on the third movie and it already doesn't make any fucking sense. So it's a pass. And I know what's coming next, but you know what? I'm not gonna say anything more. I'm just gonna say tune in next week as Tuan and I meet the Slaughter family and we slowly discover their connection to the Illuminati. But that's next week. Until then, good night.
If you like this episode, please be sure to check out some from the Haddonfield Horror Cemetery, where we've covered big franchises such as Friday the 13th, Halloween, and Saw, or one-off reviews like The Blackening or Hereditary. You can follow Haddonfield Horrors on Instagram and TikTok, where the host posts updates and mini reviews. Full episodes are available on several podcasting platforms, including Spotify, as well as YouTube. If you're listening to us on YouTube, please be sure to like and subscribe. The Haddonfield Horrors podcast is produced by Mark Smart, Tawan Griffin, and Elian Cordova, themed by Lethal Injection, and edited by Mark Smart.
The Haddonfield Horror Podcast is a Letter to Media production.
Should we do an intro?